Hello, and welcome back to Start Adventuring, a channel dedicated to empowering new roleplayers to break down their barriers and just start adventuring. I'm Baxter.
And I'm Ben. And this week we are running the 5th adventure in the Candlekeep Mysteries book for Dungeons & Dragons. This is Shemshime's Bedtime Rhyme, which we are going to be running with Baxter's character, Sonni Six Eyes Cherilyn. You can see over there. If you want to know more about Sonni Cherilyn, there is a character introduction session 0 video on the channel that you can go check out before you watch this. But Baxter, if you don't have any questions, I'm ready to jump right into the adventure if you are.
Oh, I'm so excited. Let's get Sonni Cherilyn into Candlekeep, into Shemshime's Bedtime Rhyme.
So, Artificer Sonni Six Eyes Cherilyn has had occasion to come to the fortress at Candlekeep, the great libraries there. Let's just refresh for the start of the adventure why Sonni is coming to Candlekeep.
So Sonni is an inventor and a builder, so he has a steel defender that is the pack that he wears on his back that powers his gadgets. And one of the things that it does when he deploys that steel defender is has a amputated left arm. So that arm goes with the steel defender. So he wants to make a retractable arm for both himself when the steel defender isn't on him, or the pack isn't on him, as well as the steel defender when it's deployed. So he is pretty convinced that there is a schematic for this in Candlekeep, and he imagines that with, some time to it, he could reverse engineer it. So his goal is to find it. We discussed it,
and that's true. He knows there is an inventor who has a patent. He tried to get into Candlekeep with his family. They took a trip, and he didn't bring a book, so he had to surrender the patent to Candlekeep. Kind of a tragic story that Sonni heard about. I don't know if Sonni thinks that guy's what Sonni thinks of that circumstance, but he had to part with the patent to go into Candlekeep with his family, and now it remains there. But Sonni is pretty sure that if he can get his hands on that patented schematic, he could reverse engineer it and figure out how to build this thing. So he's made the trek to Candlekeep, and everything was going according to plan until on the last leg of your journey to Candlekeep, you hit some bad weather, and it delayed the wagon that was bringing several seekers to Candlekeep. A lot of people, when the bad weather hit, just decided they were going to head back to Baldur's Gate and go back on another trip. But Sonni stuck it out, and in the dead of the night, alone on this wagon from Baldur's Gate, Sonni Cherilyn arrives to Candlekeep.
Okay.
As you approach the entrance to Candlekeep, where there are usually lines, there are no lines anymore. There's one gentleman in purple robes and avowed standing at the gate. He looks to be in his late 60s. And as you approach, he kind of looks at you and he says, "Are you trying to get in?"
Yes, that's right. This is Sonni Six Eyes Cherilyn. I have my schematic here for this steel defender that I wear on my back. And he kind of gestures to the pack. It's of my own design, so I'm sure you don't have it. I'm just looking for admittance in.
He kind of furrows his brow at you and he says, "You know what time it is? This is the busiest season for you to show up in the middle of the night. We don't have any room for anybody tonight. You'll have to come back in the morning."
Oh, well, I don't need a bed, just a chair in the library to look at a schematic for an hour or two, then I'll be out of your hair.
He huffs and puffs a little bit. Make a persuasion check.
Ooh. You said persuasion?
Persuasion.
Ooh, he's not. Sonni has a +1 to his persuasion. But I did roll a 13, so 14 total.
Yeah, this avowed person at the gate kind of sighs and extends his hand, as is his duty, and says, "All right, show me this. Show me your donation."
Yeah, and he just kind of furls, opens up his bag of holding and kind of ruffles through. He's like, "Oh, I'm sure it's here somewhere. Oh, here!" And he pulls it out, and it's this long, schematic, tall schematic that is wound tightly into a cylinder.
He takes it and he kind of unfurls part of it and looks at it. You can see he's really squinting. You get the sense that maybe he's visually impaired to some extent, or maybe it's just dark. He's only got a little bit of torchlight here, but he turns to his side and says, "Madam Longquill, I need you." And as if she never sleeps, the figure of Madam Longquill appears and approaches and says, "Yes, what is it?" And this guy hands her the schematic and says, "Do we have something like this? This guy showed up in the middle of the night."
Hey there, Miss Sonni Cherilyn.
She looks at you and she says, "Madam Longquill, I'm in charge here at the gates. It's a pleasure to meet you. You said Mr. Cherilyn?"
"Yes, ma'am. Sonni. Some call me Sonni Six Eyes," and he kind of grabs the goggles on top of his head.
She smiles at you, taken with your sort of quirkiness, and looks at the schematic and kind of nods, and she says, "Oren, I actually believe we do have use for this. Do me a favor. Bring him to the Firefly Seller. I know that we're overbooked. Let him stay the night there in the visiting scholars guest room. I believe there is a vacancy. He can stay there overnight, and we can make arrangement for you in the morning, Mr. Cherilyn. Does that sound all right to you?"
"That sounds just dandy. Thank you, Miss Madam Longquill. That's mighty fine of you."
And she kind of nods to you, and she nods to Oren, the avowed, who checked you in and said, "Show him the way." And she kind of disappears. And Oren kind of gruffly rolls up your schematic and puts it with the pile of donations that are there, and he says, "Yeah, you're lucky. We don't usually take overflow here at Candlekeep. It's a popular place to be." As he kind of leads the way, he says, "I'm showing you personally the Firefly Seller. Now, keep in mind," he starts to say, as he leads you into the Court of the Air and toward the House of Rest, where generally people stay. The Firefly Seller, he makes you aware. He says, "Firefly Seller is underneath the House of Rest. There's a library collection there undergoing renovation, but luckily there is a guest room for visiting scholars, and I guess today's your lucky day," he says as he leads you into the House of Rest and takes a turn to a stairway that descends into the Firefly Cellar. As he leads you down that stairway, it opens up into the library that he described, and it is, as promised, in disrepair. You do see some books scattered about, things that need rebinding. The other thing is, it's not well lit down here. It must be called the Firefly Cellar for a reason, because it's only lit by lamps that are filled with fireflies. So there's a sort of dust that hangs in the air and this musty smell in this broken down library, but it's a relatively large collection. It's like a circular room, and as you descend, the first thing that you see is a sculpture of a book suspended by chains from the ceiling. On the cover of this book sculpture, it says, "Stay curious," and you see a blue furred tabaxi on top of this sculpture, kind of tending to one of the chains. They turn their head to look as you and Oren approach, and they say in a voice that indicates to you that this is a female tabaxi. She says, "Oh, Oren, hello, we weren't expecting you. Who is this?" And Oren says, "Hey, Sunak, sorry to barge in at such a late hour. This is, sorry, what was your name again?"
Sonni Six Eyes Cherilyn. Miss, Sunam, was it?
Sunak.
Sunak.
I'm a scribe here at Candlekeep, and I've been charged with renovating the Firefly Cellar. It's a pleasure to meet you. She kind of hops. She's very dexterous. It's almost surprising how easily she can hop and almost float from this sculpture that's hanging over the sort of circular opening that leads down into the Firefly Cellar toward the balcony in this circular stacks area. She lands and approaches you and extends a paw hand to shake. And says,
he sticks out his electronic arm to shake and meet her, and kind of gives a firm handshake with the powered arm.
And she says, "Quite the builder. Did you make this yourself?"
"Yes, ma'am. That's how I got in to the gate here."
"Oh, well, it's very nice. I look forward to studying the schematic. I'm something of an arcane tinkerer myself, although my tendencies tend toward spells and magics that aren't so construct-based. Anyway, Oren, thank you for bringing Mr. Cherilyn here. If it's all the same to you, I can escort him down to the guests' chambers if you'd like." And Oren agrees happily and shuffles off back up the stairs and closes the hatch behind him, leaving you with Sunak.
So you said it's dimly lit in here?
Relatively dimly lit. I mean, you can see there are a lot of firefly lamps, but it's more the character of the light is informed by all of these flickering fireflies, rather than, like, you can't see.
Okay. So Sonni is going to just give him a little extra aid, pull down his 6-eye goggles, which give him essentially dark vision. So he could see as if it was completely lit well. And can I do a little quick once around the room? Is there anything that I could immediately tend to fix, just kind of to give a helping hand to my new tabaxi friend Sunak?
Oh, interesting. Make a perception check for me.
And I'm sorry, their name again is Sumac?
Sunak.
You said investigation?
Mm-hmm. No, perception.
That is going to be... Oh, I have +0, 15 still, though.
As you look around, the thing that you notice the most, at least in terms of something mechanical that you could mess with, is probably the chain that she was already repairing on this heavy sculpture that's suspended here from the ceiling. Otherwise, it's all books that are mostly in disrepair. You see things that are kind of off the shelf on tables and things that have been pages taken out, bindings messed with, or things like that. But there's nothing really mechanical to
address.
To tend to. Right.
Except for the chain, you said, though? So could I try to fix the chain for her? Or assist her in fixing the chain?
Yeah, well, so it appears that she's already done a pretty good job, but make an investigation check as you look to check her work on it.
Ooh, wow, that's going to be a over 20 dirty. It's going to be like 23 dirty.
You notice there are 3 chains that suspend this sculpture from the ceiling. The third one, if they're in a line, the third one of the links doesn't look quite right. Like... And you know this because you're a skilled machinist.
Right.
It's a little bit compromised. Everything here is a little bit compromised, but this stands out to you.
And is there anything I can do to fix it? With my wrench, maybe? Or kind of reform it?
You're proficient in tinkerer's tools and things like that, right?
Yes, correct, yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and make for me a... make just an intelligence check. To see. Well, first of all, are you going to say anything to her before you do this, or are you just walking up and trying to do something?
He's gonna gesture to the chain link that is a little wonked out and says, "Looks like that wasn't machined right or something. If you want me to help, I can."
Oh, well, certainly. I've been messing with this all night. I'd appreciate it. A skilled hand, if you'd like to see if you can do something.
Absolutely, miss. Yes. And he just kind of tries to shimmy himself up and use his wrench to reform it or whatever it needs to be done in order to kind of get it back in proper repair.
Yeah, Go ahead and make, because you're a tinkerer, make an intelligence check plus your proficiency modifier.
Okay. Okay, 16 total?
Yeah, you work it a little bit. It just takes a little bit of rearranging. At the end of the day, you can't make this. You won't be able to make this chain a better chain overnight, but you are able to kind of whack the thing into place and fix it to a point where you feel like it'll be a little bit more stable. And Sunak nods her head and as you do it and says, "I appreciate that. Wonderful. Thank you very much."
Of course.
Anyway. It is late. I'm certainly tired, and I know you must be as well. Would you like me to show you downstairs to your room?
Absolutely. You wouldn't by chance know if there's any schematics for different kinds of prosthetics in here, do you?
She, as she starts to lead you downstairs, she gestures at the stacks around you. Basically, the layout of the Firefly Seller is there are 2 levels that are circular of bookshelves and books, and then a stairway on the ground floor that leads to a cellar. She says she lets you know that that's where the rooms are as she leads you that direction. But as she goes through the stacks with you, she says, "It's quite possible. The collection here in the Firefly Cellar is of great interest to Candlekeep. It's just fallen into disrepair. That's why I've been given the job of renovating the area and taking inventory down here. So it's certainly possible, but tomorrow I'd be more than happy to speak with some avowed and try to find the manuscript you're talking about."
Wonderful. Well, I thank you very much. Just lead on to the rooms then.
And she leads you downstairs to the cellar. Similarly lit down there, firefly lamps on the wall, although it's a little bit colder stone down in the cellar. And as you come down the stairs and through the long hallway that leads to the living quarters in the Firefly Cellar, you hear the sound of dishes being moved around, pots and pans clanking together. And as you enter into a kitchen, you see a man, olive skin tone, dark hair graying slightly, doing some dishes in the sink. He turns his head as you and Sunak enter and says, "Well, hello. Oh, Sunak, you brought a friend?"
Oh, hey there, yes, Sunny Six Eyes Cherilyn, sir. How you doing?
He nods his head to you and he says, all right. Sorry, where are my manners? My name's Ebder. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, Ebder.
I'm sorry. I'm just working hard here, and I really need to go to bed. I have a big day tomorrow with my daughter. But he's staying in the guest quarters? Ebder says to Sunak, who says, yes. And she leads you past him. You continue past into the kitchen to a hallway with doors on either side and one door at the end of the hallway. You do hear the sound of a little girl singing. Just a tune to herself down at the end of the hallway. And Sunak not turns to you, but she kind of inclines her head and says, "Ebder's daughter, Galeby, I'm sorry. I tend to forget people's names. I'm full of things to do. Galeby is Ebder's daughter. She lives with him at the end of the hall. Don't worry, they're sweet people. They work hard. But this will be your room here." And she gestures to the first room on the right as in this hallway. As she does so, she kind of turns to you and says, I'll be making breakfast in the morning, so if you'd like to join me, we can set off and try to find your schematic first thing.
That sounds mighty fine. Thank you so much. I'm just going to catch me some shut-eye before we get started tomorrow morning.
Sounds good to me. I need to do the same myself, she says, and turns on her heels and heads across the hallway to what must be her chamber and closes the door, leaving you alone in your room to rest for the night. It's a pretty pretty standard room, not anything too ornate, but there's a bed, it'll serve. There's a little foot locker for your supplies. I don't know what you packed to bring to Candlekeep, or if Sonny Cherilyn packs light, but...
Well, he has a bag of holding, so he doesn't necessarily pack light, but it's all confined within the bag, so...
Easy peasy.
Easy transport.
Yeah. So you throw your bag of holding in the foot locker. And with that, you're free to go to bed unless there's something that Sonny Cherilyn needs to do before heading off to sleep.
He's gonna take off the pack and all of his gear and have it all charging by the bedside. Be nice and comfy. There's nothing in the room. I imagine it's pretty there's nothing like... I mean, I guess there's nothing really of interest to me, right? I'm just waiting for tomorrow morning. So yeah, Sonny would just go to bed. Sonny
it's
wouldn't
a very
be
simple room, yeah.
Yeah, Sonny wouldn't be like looking for trouble or anything. He's pretty well content to just go to bed and look for the schematic tomorrow morning.
Perfect. So with that, you put yourself to bed after putting your things away and get ready for tomorrow morning. Sleep is relatively peaceful for being in a new place, and it was lucky that you were able to get a bed, and it's nice to rest, especially after the inclement weather and the long journey to get here. Make a perception check for me as you rest in your bed.
Ooh, Sonny is a heavy sleeper. That's a 5 on that perception.
Yeah, in your sleep, you stir slightly, feeling like you maybe heard something. There was, but then it's silent. Just the buzzing of fireflies in the hallway outside. Do fireflies buzz? I'm not sure. Strange, but then you go back to sleep, and before you know it, it's the morning time. You imagine there are no windows down in the Firefly Cellar, but you are awake, so.
I'm awake and it feels like it's been enough time. So I'm going to gear up and just get ready, take my bag of holding out of the foot locker, collect everything I put away in the room, and head on out.
As you exit from your room, to your right at the end of the hallway, you do hear the clicking of something against the floor, and as you turn to look, you see a Kenku figure. Long black beak, a crow person, essentially.
Okay.
A figure with black feathers, a cowl over their head, a purple cowl, avowed robes, and a long staff with a hook at the end, moving a firefly lamp off of the wall and putting it into a basket at their side. This Kenku looks to you and kind of just clicks at you suspiciously. And then you hear a voice.
Something I can help you with?
The Kenku just kind of.
Do I know? Do these things? Would it be? Is this Is this species? Is this like a standard intellectual species, or is this like a crow?
Kenku are sentient, communicative creatures. It is abnormal the way that this Kenku is behaving. The Kenku puts the firefly lamp into the basket, pulls out another firefly lamp, puts it on the wall, and then just turns and starts to walk back down the hallway to that room at the very end, opens the door, and then slips inside and closes it.
Okay, Sonny is going to leave that be and go see if he can find Sunak to begin the search for the schematic.
You find Sunak easy enough. She is sitting at the table in the kitchen, enjoying a simple breakfast. You see that she's made a little plate for you. Or there is a plate at an empty chair, and she gestures when she sees you and says, "Oh, I made you some breakfast if you'd like to sit."
Oh, that was mighty kind of you. Thank you so much. And Sonny's going to sit down and just start kind of eating by little bit of the food.
And as you start to eat, you do notice, as Sunak is eating, as she's chewing, in fact, all of a sudden, she seems to have a little bit of difficulty because she starts to hum a tune as she eats. So through the food, you just hear, hmm, 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 hmm. It's a little bit strange, but she doesn't seem to make much of it as she does it. She continues eating. And as you both sit there, before too long, you hear a little bit of commotion in the hallway behind you. And as you turn to look, you see Ebder and Galeby, his daughter, are starting to head out on their way out of the kitchen toward the hallway that leads to the library. Ebder actually says to Sunak as he passes, "Well, I'll be back tonight. I trust everything will be taken care of while I'm gone." And Sunak says, "No worries, Ebder. Have a nice day off." And Ebder takes Galeby's hand, and they start to leave. And as they do, you hear Ebder, under his breath almost, hum.
Does it sound at all like the did I hear the tone the little girl was singing last night?
Make a straight up intelligence check.
And I guess because the crow person was also, was that the same? Is it the same? Okay, hold on. 19 plus insight, you said? So 19 for insight.
As you consider this, intelligence. I'm sorry, but
so
as you
22.
This, yeah, it's going to be even higher, right? As you consider this, you know what? Yeah, you think it was, and actually, you can hear it in your head, just that little bit. That.
I would like to quickly say, now hold on, everybody, hold on. Something's going on. Everyone's whistling that tune you're whistling, sir. I think something is. I mean, it's weird, right?
Ebder has already passed up the stairs at this point. Only Sunak is there with you as you start to say this. But as you're talking, make a concentration check for me. Just a Constitution saving throw.
Actually. Okay, 13.
As you're talking, you feel the need to hum out loud this tone. But you don't. You manage to suppress it. But you manage to get out this panicked statement about humming that tone. And Sunak, you notice as you say this and look at her, her eyes are wide. And she says, "We need to stop Ebder from leaving right now." And she stands up from the table and starts to head off in the direction that Ebder went.
Yeah, I'm gonna run after him.
You have a moment to think about your options as you run through the stacks, up the spiral staircase to the second level of stacks where the hatch that leads outside of the Firefly Seller is. Sunak is in a sprint. Sunak is pretty dexterous and fast, and she's able to catch up to Ebder and Galeby just as they reach the exit of the Firefly Seller, and she shouts, "Ebder, wait, stop!" And you see her extend a hand, and it glows. Just as Ebder's hand reaches for the hatch, he goes to open it, and it's blocked shut. And Ebder turns to Sunak and says, "What do you think you're doing? It's my daughter's birthday. It's our day off. We're leaving." And Sunak says, "Ebder, no one can leave the cellar until we figure out what's going on." She catches herself as she starts to hum that tune, and Ebder furrows her brows at her. And Ebder turns to you and says, "You're going to let her do this? Come on."
Sir, let me... I don't know much about what's going on, but your daughter was humming a tune I heard last night, and then when I woke up, everybody else has this tune in their head, and we need to know what's going on. We need to talk to your daughter about maybe what she's doing right now.
And Galeby kind of looks at you, and as you say that, and her eyes go wide, and she says, "I'm right here."
Can I do a vibe check on this little girl?
Make an insight check.
Is she, that is a 19.
She's extremely sweet. She has curly hair, and little dark freckles.
I'm not saying she did anything wrong. She might just be, the first one.
Why do you keep talking about me like I'm not here?
Honey, it's just because this is a very stressful situation. Sonny Six-Eye Cherilyn doesn't know you very well, and...
Shemshime, Shem... Oh, I'm sorry.
See, sir, that's the kind of thing we're afraid of. This poor little girl. Honey, poor girl here. What's your name?
Galeby.
Galeby. Poor little Galeby over here saying these little rhymes that now everyone else is saying. So we're just need to figure out, sir, what exactly is going on.
Sunak nods and looks at you, Sonny, and says, "This is a serious matter. Ebder, you have heard of this. We knew that this might happen one day." And Ebder kind of shakes his head and he says, "I don't believe in any superstitions about any broken books. I want to take my daughter out for her birthday, and I'm not going to let you shut the hatch, even if I have to break it open myself." And he puts a hand on the hatch and starts to, tug on it. And Galeby is kind of looking around confused. Make a concentration check for me, Sonny Cherilyn.
24. Gosh, man, Sonny's rolling high. He also has a +5 as a con save, but...
Yeah, as you are watching this, you hear in your head, Shemshime, Shemshime, and you feel the need to sing it. You feel that need to sing it, but you don't. You don't. You suppress it.
Okay.
But Ebder is tugging on this hatch, and Sunak turns to you and says, we have to stop him. We can't let him do this. If this spreads, it will cause a problem. It is a summoning ritual. Shemshime. No! And she, controls herself.
A summoning ritual? Okay. Sonny says, "All right, this isn't a game anymore, sir. We got to get everybody quarantined down in the Firefly Seller and figure out just exactly what we're going to do about this. The fewer people that are infected, the better, sir. Let's just get down and get this figured out so your daughter can have a nice birthday for the rest of the day. Come on now."
Ebder turns to you and he points a finger at you and he starts to approach you and he says, "I'm not going to let somebody who just walked in today tell me what I'm going to do." And
now, sir, I'm just trying to use logic and good manners here. I'm not trying to come between you or anything. You don't know me. I don't know you. We're just trying to get through today.
He really starts to straighten up and he says, "I'll tell you about getting through today. I have been waiting for this for a month, and now I'm not going to get my one day off on my daughter's birthday. It's a serious matter to me. See a mother sighting." He covers his mouth, and his eyes start to go really wide as he covers his mouth, and he can't control his mouth. His voice pitches up to a point that you don't recognize and says, "See a mother scything wheat, forgetting husband sleeping near. With one swing she took his feet, with another took his ear. Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime, Shemshime."
Grab his face with my metallic hand to stop him from summoning whatever he's gonna summon.
Make a strength check.
Okay.
I'll say
14.
Make it athletics check.
Oh, okay. Maybe it would be better. No, it's the same thing. It's a 14 or 15. Sorry.
Actually, as you grab his mouth, his arms go up, but then all of a sudden, as if he can't move anymore, his arms go rigid at his side, and his eyes just start to really bulge out. Galeby looks very concerned and says, Dad?
It's okay, darling.
Dad?
It's okay. We're going to get him help. I want to motion to what's-her-name to come help me because I'm now realizing I don't work for Candlekeep, but I'm taking control of this situation quite nicely.
Yes. Sunak approaches, and she looks panicked as this is going on. She looks to you, Sonny, and says, "Listen, we need to keep from singing for as long as we possibly can. The more people who sing the song, the worse it'll get. And if we get to the end of the song, it's going to come out. It's a curse. We thought that it wasn't a real thing. We may have miscalculated.
Yes, it seems you did. Seems like a good estimation.
As you and Sunak are talking to each other, you watch as all of a sudden Ebder turns and starts walking, covering his mouth, but walking very slowly in the direction of the staircase that leads down to the first floor of Stacks.
Wait, not to the Firefly Seller?
You're in the Firefly Cellar. This whole library is the Firefly Cellar.
I misunderstood. I thought we were arguing at the gate to the outside of Candlekeep.
You're at the hatch that leads, to the House of Rest and the outside of Candlekeep.
Cool. So we're still all contained in the Firefly Cellar.
Yes.
Okay.
And Sunak does say to you, I've magically locked this hatch. He won't be able to get out. No one will be able to get out until we can figure this out.
How many people are in the Firefly Cellar right now?
Myself, you, Ebder, Galeby, and Crinkle. Did you meet Crinkle, the Kenku custodian of the Firefly Cellar? Crinkle
I did meet him. He was just a chattering little guy. Didn't say much or anything, but he was chit-chattering the humming thing.
Yes.
So
Crinkle has been known to not say much. But Crinkle keeps to themselves. They take care of the Fireflies, and that's all that we ask for.
Oh, they. I apologize. I was they.
That's quite all right. Anyway, Sunak looks around. At this point, Ebder has already started heading down the stairs. And as he starts to descend, you see a Firefly lamp next to you and Sunak start to shake slowly back and forth, and the Fireflies start to go in and out, flickering.
Can I put my dark vision goggles on? Do I see anything that...
As you look around, all that you can see is that not only is this lamp starting to flicker, but over on the other side of the stacks, there's another lamp that starts to sway back and forth and flicker.
Can I do an Arcana check or an Insight check to see if I can figure out what's going on?
Sure, take your pick. Arcana or
probably
Insight.
Arcana, because with everything going on, I assume there's some level of... Oh, this is maybe not great, but I think I have a pretty good Arcane roll. Or Arcana roll. I do. I get +6, so it's a 12. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
It's hard to say, but it's very spooky. It doesn't seem like it's just part of natural Firefly stuff. That's for sure. Also, as you're watching this, and Sunak, you hear her say, "Does the shadow have a..."
Put my hand over her mouth.
Yeah, she covers her own mouth too, but I need you to make a concentration check.
18?
Yeah, you hear, again, those words in your head. You remember now the words, and all of a sudden there are new words. You can hear in your head that tune. See a dog that knows how to heal, never heeds plea nor command. Mother gave it a tasty meal, dog chose instead to eat her hand. And then you feel compelled to sing, "Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime, Shemshime, causes grief, avoids the blame. Shemshime, Shemshime." But as your mouth goes to sing it, you control yourself and you just hear it on loop in your head. And as you hear it in your head, you can hear that high-pitched voice of Ebder singing those words from downstairs. And Sunak goes, we need to follow him, and starts to follow down to the first floor of Stacks.
Okay, yeah, I definitely, a little thinking about it, I would follow with the group. Sonni is currently, just a little check-in, Sonni is, he wants to get this taken care of, I think he's not super excited that this is going on, but I think Sonni is also, his innovative personality has led him to be a little bit more understanding to stuff like this. where I don't think, we talked about him being kind of a rebel without a cause and not liking to being told what to do. I think this follows more in the category of something that while it's a constraint on him, he understands the implication, especially with hearing these voices and all of this. So he's pretty ready to comply and help the group figure this out.
Yeah, so you're along for the ride with Sunak, who is the one who seems to be most trying to figure this out. As she comes downstairs, she spies Ebder. He is on the far side of the circular stacks, where there's a doorway that seems to lead into some offices or something. It's unclear to you, but there's some room sort of off the side of the stacks. And Ebder, at this point, collapses to the ground and is pointing in the direction of that room as he sings another stanza. See a son doing his chore, washing clothes for folk in town.
Okay, I would like to jump. Can I use so Sonni has, you can see in the token, he has like a handkerchief. Can I take that off and try and kind of gag this guy from continuously singing? Because this guy seems to be
and
having a hard
as you
time
do that,
his...
Sunak is also going to help you with that. So why don't you make an athletics check with advantage to try to stifle Ebder as he's singing?
Oh, that's a nat 20. You said it's -1, so 19.
You manage to get to Ebder. As you go to subdue him, he's pretty weak, actually. Kind of strangely weak. But you are able to stifle him, and he's just...
Can I get a reading on this guy? Is it a kind of one of those... Is he being manipulated by... Is this a magical reason that he's like this, or...
sees your confusion, and obviously she is stressed out too. She says, "This is possession. This is a possession." There's a book that came to Candlekeep several years ago that is said to be. I know, maybe we shouldn't have taken it. We tried caution with it. It is said to be a vessel for something unsavory. And I think this is the doing of that something.
Oh. Well, you said... Is it this book that you said is in disrepair, that you broke it and that's why the curse happened? Isn't that what you said?
No, the book... We lost the book a while back. It had come to Candlekeep. By way of... It's a long story. There's a curse, allegedly, on the book. When it came to Candlekeep, we tried to take care to keep it separate. Just an interesting historical artifact, nothing to be concerned about. And then it went missing during the renovation of the Firefly Seller. It was moved to this location, this collection, and it had since gone missing. It's called Shemshime's... After she says the name, you see her tense up as if she has to stifle the urge to sing. And
we're just gonna call it the book from here on out.
The book.
Let me ask, when did the book go missing?
Gosh, months ago.
How long has Ebder's daughter been here?
Ebder's daughter's been here as long as Ebder has. Years he's worked at Candlekeep.
Is it possible the little girl has it? She seemed to have been singing it before everyone else was sick.
I suppose it's possible. I think that must be... It seems likely, doesn't it?
Well, just based on the small bit of information I have, she was patient zero, as it were called. I heard her singing it last night, and I didn't hear anybody. Back when that happened, I didn't know anything about it, and then I woke up in the morning and everybody's hemming and hawing about it.
It's a reasonable conclusion. I didn't hear Galeby singing last night. If I had, I would have done something last night. I assure you. I would have done everything I could. This is not my fault, she says, clearly stressed out by the situation. She turns her head toward the office where Ebder had been pointing and says, that's... those rooms are where we repair books. Ebder works in there from time to time, rebinding books. It's the scriptorium, and also there's a supply closet where we keep the fireflies
this room
in there.
Here? He said, he points at the one that Ebder was pointing at.
Yes.
He said, let me
and
let
if we're
me
looking
go in
for
here.
Gail
Ebder...
B, she's probably downstairs.
Well, Ebder was pointing over here when he keeled over. Let's check and see if the book is in here. Maybe he had stashed it away.
Absolutely. I think we have to. We just need to be careful. It could be a trap or something. I'm definitely on edge with what's going on. But she stands up and collects herself and follows you over to the scriptorium. As you enter into this room, it's even dingier than the rest of the Firefly Seller. Sunak actually says Ebder doesn't mind as much to clean things up, so his workspace is a little bit messy. All that you can really see, it's a pretty sparsely decorated office, but there are all kinds of books and book parts here. Clearly a lot of work being done rebinding and repairing manuscripts and covers and books and things. There's also a tapestry kind of loosely on the back wall. And over to the right, as promised, there is a small supply closet where you can see various containers with fireflies in them, and also as you kind of get a small peek, it looks like maybe food or something for fireflies in there, but it looks like a supply closet of some kind.
Is there a... I want to look at, like, his work area, and just see if I can find a book, that is labeled Shemshime's Bedtime Rhyme, or something that is, you know, that, with the help, hopefully, of, Sunak, maybe try to find the book with her expertise on, you know, knowing what it looks like.
Sunak nods at you, and says, yeah, let's check out the desk. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
19, like a +6, that's pretty...
So, as you start to look at the desk, it doesn't look like there is much here that's suspicious. It's calligrapher supplies, various inks and leathers used for making books. But as you... First of all, I need a concentration check from you as you do this.
Nat 20, +5.
You hear the words in your head again. See a son doing his chore, washing clothes for folk in town, fell into the river's roar, sank to the bottom and he drowned. Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime, Shemshime, causes grief, avoids the blame. Shemshime, Shemshime. You feel the need to sing along like you always do, but you resist it. But as that sound concludes, you hear a gasp from behind you as Sunak, you turn and see that she has moved the tapestry on the wall slightly out of the way and scratched into the wall, maybe with a blade or something. In the stone are the words, "Finish the rhyme."
Ooh. He looks at it and says, well, I'm sure he's been up to no good then. Maybe he's already experienced it, and maybe he's patient zero for all we know. Have you noticed anything going on weird with him?
She looks bewildered and turns to you and turns back to this writing on the wall, turns to Ebder, who is completely unconscious on the ground at this point outside of the scriptorium, and just shakes her head. She says, I haven't heard anyone singing. Oh, the singing madness. I knew this might have happened, but I was being vigilant for it. I didn't hear anything until today.
Well, how do we stop it? Let's, you know, it's great that you were trying to be vigilant, honey, but something obviously happened. And Sonni kind of gestures to everything going on. Now, look, all we can do right now is try to figure out how we can best fix what's going on so this quarantine can end. But it sure as heck isn't going to help all just sitting around pretending like it's not happening.
She makes a pained face. You can tell that she's now concentrating on something, and maybe she didn't even hear the last part of what you said. You, too, feel that urge coming on to you. Make a concentration check for me.
Golly, man. Ooh, not as good. 10, but I got +5, 15.
You are able to suppress it, but you hear Shemshime, Shemshime. And as you hear that, you do hear out loud a bass voice, a very rich voice you have not heard yet before, singing, "Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime, Shemshime."
Can I say something to it? In my head?
Yes, it sounds like that voice was not in your head. That was out loud, and it sounded like it was in this room.
Did I discern where it felt like it came from?
You make a perception check.
My guess, Baxter's guess, not Sonny's guess. Baxter's guess is the supply closet. I got a nat 20. Another nat 20. Sonny is...
your intuition was also right. That came from the supply
no way.
closet.
Oh, awesome. How funny. Yeah, so Sonny is going to just go right into that supply closet. And he's going to pull out his wrench and cast a magical tinkering. So I can make it emit a 5-foot radius of light. So it's like a giant...
okay.
So, and I just want to have that ready to go and prep it in case something jumps out at me as I walk into this Firefly Seller.
Yeah, Sunak is very, very rigid as you head in that direction. She's saying, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?"
Yeah, I heard it, honey. It's not going to go away unless we deal with it. So I'm going to go see if it wants to talk mano y mano.
You head in there with your light, and as you look around, it's as you thought. There doesn't seem to be anybody in here. The shelves are crammed with jars of various supplies for caring for fireflies, you imagine. You have pretty high intelligence, so I'll say you can discern. It looks like food and cleaning supplies and things like that. You also see a couple of crow feathers around here. You'd been told that Crinkle tends to the fireflies, so it seems reasonable to assume that Crinkle may spend time in this room. But as you're looking with your wrench around, make an investigation check with advantage for me. Advantage because of your tinkery light.
Oh, awesome, because the first roll was a 9. But the second one was a 17. Investigation, +6. So that's going to be a 23. Gosh, Sonny is rolling nice.
As you hold your wrench around and look at things, and Sunak stands in the doorway, very tense, kind of rubbing her paws together, and under her breath, humming.
Keep it together, Sumak.
She's trying. You look at the stones along the corner of the molding on the floor. One of the stones seems loose.
Let me ask you something, Sunak. You see this stone that's loose here? How much we know about Crinkle? You ever hear him speak?
No. Crinkle keeps
that
to
voice
himself?
we just heard, could it have been Crinkle's real voice?
I never considered it. I suppose. I don't think that that's Crinkle's voice, but...
I don't know him, so I can't make any distinction, but we heard the noise coming from over here. I see feathers. I know he's tending to the fireflies and such, but, it's just interesting. But just, I'm going to move this rock and we're going to see what we have behind here, but I'm just trying to figure this out, okay?
Okay.
And yeah, Sonny's going to go to move that loose stone to see if he can...
Yeah, you reach out a hand to the stone, and it moves relatively easily, but with a little bit of scraping sound as you slowly remove it, and the light from your wrench is cast inside. What is inside is a human skull just looking out. The moment that you see it, I need you to make a concentration check. At disadvantage.
Ooh. 18 total, 13 plus 5.
This skull begins to move, just the jaw flapping up and down as you hear, "Does the shadow have a name?"
We got a skeleton in here, and I hit the jawbone off. With my wrench, so it stops.
Make an attack roll.
Oh, dude, man, Sonni, you are my muse, my friend. Attack is going to be, I'm attacking with Sonny's wrench, which is only a +2 to the DC, but it was an 18, so dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, I won't even make you roll damage. You hit it with the wrench, and you just crack this jawbone right off. The singing stops immediately, and you suppress the singing. Sunak is pretty impressed, honestly, with your resolve. She says, "What? A singing skeleton? Oh, no." And as you look in this area where the skeleton was, I won't even make you make a perception check because you have the light from your wrench. You can tell by the way that the dust is laying in this alcove, there was something square-shaped in this alcove with this skull at one point, and it has since been removed, it appears.
All right, well, looks like do I believe, is it book-shaped square, book-sized square?
Yeah.
Well,
it seems...
he points to the empty square on the ground. I think I know where your book was. Now, look, I am a man of science and magic, so I understand that there is a connective tissue to all this, honey. That's why, for me, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. The best thing we can do is keep our heads and keep a level mind with it. Now, let me ask you, I don't know anything about the book situation. Why is there a skeleton singing to me in a alcove? What's all this about?
She looks down a little bit defeated. Make a persuasion check for me with advantage.
Yeah, with advantage. Good, because that was a 5. That's a 9, and I think I get +0. Oh, wait, persuasion?
Yes.
+1, so 10. Sonny's coming off a little stronger than he needs to. A little harsher.
She looks at the ground and says, "It's complicated. The skeleton and the book are connected." What did you say your persuasion roll was? I'm sorry.
10. 10?
She says, "They are connected. It was a precautionary measure that he was in here, and he's supposed to be dead."
Oh, so what you're telling me is he caught it. You thought the best case scenario was you were going to throw him in a closet next to where your gentlemanly ginkgo or the crow man does his stuff. Wouldn't be able to.
Genku, please.
Genku. I apologize. It's a new thing for me. I will do my best to learn it and out of respect. But he's been coming in this closet. I guarantee you, he just hear that guy saying that, and that's where it started.
Her eyes go wide, and it starts to click for her. I guess that makes sense, but... And she turns around and she looks back into the hallway where the tapestry was and the rhyme was scratched into the wall. And she looks at you and she just starts singing. "See a mother scything wheat, forgotten husband
I want to tackle her and close her mouth.
You do this, and she does not resist you, and you're able to stop her, and she gets control of herself. And as you are both kind of tussling on the ground, you hear a high-pitched scream coming from downstairs.
Oh no, the little girl. Sonny's gonna run.
Sunak kind of collects herself and also runs after you, and you head down and around to the stairs that lead down to the residential area of the cellar. As you get to the kitchen, you see... You get into the kitchen and get to the hallway where the rooms are. As you turn that corner, you feel the temperature in the room dropping. You can feel goosebumps on your skin just appearing and that like ringing in your ears as you turn the corner and see Galeby holding what looks like a small metal box of some kind, but the spine has blood on it. And actually, Galeby has blood on the front of her as well. She is shaking. Her eyes are wide. She puts one hand into her curly black hair and shakes her head. And she says, I wanted to know the last words. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have sang the song.
You shouldn't have, darling. It's okay. Just give that to me now. Go ahead and just pass that on over to me. Sonni says as he sticks out his metal hand to grab the box. The metal hand again. I want to iterate.
And as she shakily hands you the box, she starts to sing, "See a daughter grinding grain."
I would like to...
Grain.
No, I would like to...
Grain.
Hold on. The steel defender pops off of my back, holding the box, and Sonni is going to use his right hand to gently but firmly cover the little girl's mouth. As respectfully as I can.
As the hand goes over her mouth, her eyes close and you see she blinks like tears onto the fingers of your steel defender. And she shakes her head and she says, "I don't even know how the last words go. I can't get past that part." And as she's saying that, you hear in your head, "See a daughter grinding grain, grain, grain. See a mother scything wheat." It returns to the beginning, as if there's a part of it that's blocked out or suppressed.
That's
to you.
all right.
Can you make a concentration check for me?
We want it suppressed. 20, 15 plus 5.
You resist the urge to sing Shemshime, Shemshime, and you see Galeby doing the same and Sunak doing the same. Everybody at this point is starting to really have to put forth an effort to not sing. As the book, you can feel in your hand start to kind of press against your hands.
Oh, this is the book that I'm holding.
The book that you're holding, starting to open. And as it pops open...
Oh, it's... Okay. Yeah.
It's not a book at all. It's some sort of mechanical pop-up or something. You see these 4 quadrants. A big windmill pops up in the middle. It's actually kind of an interesting work of mechanics. This windmill pops up and these 4 quadrants are there. The first 3 of them pop up as you hear that tinkling music and you hear the words in your head.
I'm trying to close this thing as fast as I can. Or technically, I am holding... what's the little girl's name? Galeby? Galeby's mouth as gently as Sonni can. The steel defender is the one that's holding the thing that we took, which I assume is the book, the box that she had.
The box, yeah. The book, it turns out, appears to be some kind of music box.
So the metal defender only has one arm, so I'm going to let go of her, reconnect with my metal defender, and try and close the book. Or the box, as it were.
Make an athletics check.
Oof. 11.
You try to push it closed, but it is rigid. It's almost as if it has some kind of mechanical means of holding itself open. As these scenes pop up and this tinkling music plays and you hear in your head the words about the mother scything wheat and cutting off the husband's feet, you actually see that this first pop-up is some kind of representation of that scene. Then it's a girl with a dog eating her
Can I use my Tinkerer's tools to try and stop the mechanisms so that everything stops in it as a artificer with tinkering ability.
Yeah, I'll say make an intelligence check plus your proficiency modifier to try to do this. Although as you're trying to do it, it's still continuing. So the scenes are still popping up one at a time. It gets to the second scene and to the third scene. The mother get. Okay, so you see the scene of the mother getting her hand eaten off by a dog. You see the son falling into the river and drowning. And as you see that, you start to mess with it. As you begin to get it to stop playing, you find the sort of central operating mechanism and you start to turn it off. You notice that the fourth scene tries to pop up and like catches. You hear do as it's trying to go, and then the whole thing turns off as you shut it down. And Galeby kind of wails and says, "We need to know the end of the song. That's how we know how to beat it." But
Sonni
Crinkle
says,
won't
now hold
tell
on,
me
hold
how
on.
the song ends.
Hold on. And I'm going to look over to Sunak and say, listen to me. You said this is a summoning ritual. If we summon this thing and we kill it, is it gone for good? Or like, is this how we end this? Is we have to defeat this entity Shemshime?
Sunak kind of shakes her head and says, I mean, if we defeated the entity, we would defeat the entity, but I don't know, we need to stop the... She starts to hyperventilate and then starts to hum.
Does it seem like I could fix this so that we could hear the end of it?
Make an investigation check.
Nat 1 plus 6, so 7.
The mechanisms exist. So, I mean, I'll say, even with that low roll, as Sonni Cherilyn, the artificer, who's really good at this kind of stuff, you might be able to do it.
Okay. I'm going to look at Sunak again and just get a double verification. Now, if we play this out, if I fix this and we play it out, we're going to summon this Shemshime thing, correct? But we're bolted in here. So, worst case scenario, it gets stuck in the cellar, right?
I hope so. According to the legend, if we finish the song, Shemshime will appear. Yes, you're correct. And Galeby says,
how do we end this? How do we end the people's rhyming? What's the cure for it?
The end of the song will tell us. The end of the song will tell us, Galeby says, but Crinkle won't tell me the end of the song. And she points at the end of the hallway where the room is cracked open at the end of the hallway where Crinkle had disappeared into this morning. And she starts to shake. And then all of a sudden, Galeby just starts to sing the song quietly under her breath and covers her mouth. She says, "I don't know the end. I don't know the end."
Sonny said, "All right, we're doing this," and he's gonna try to fix the mechanism so that we can hear the end of the song.
Sunak puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "Wait, maybe we should go to somewhere where we have more room." And she kind of looks around at the cramped cellar that you're in. Should we go into the stacks or something? Just in case there's a fight.
Whatever you think. You guys know this place better than me. I'm just the guy here to fix the book.
Okay. Here, come with me. We'll bring it into the main library, and we'll get ready, and hopefully this will work.
Alrighty,
and
fingers crossed.
She turns around and starts to head back in that direction. She leads you to that downstairs circular room and places the book in the center. There's actually a little pedestal at the center for, placing books and reading things. So it works perfectly. She puts the book on top there. And you hear that tinkling melody as those 3 scenes pop up again, and the fourth one catches there. Galeby has stayed behind, crying
Probably for
against
the better.
retiring to her room to cry, and you can hear her humming the melody. But you and Sunak are trying to maintain your composure. I need a concentration check from you as you listen to this melody again.
13.
As these scenes pop up, you hear the words again. See a mother scything wheat, forgotten husband sleeping near. With one swing she took his feet, with another took his ear. And you see the first scene of the woman scything her husband. You hear about the dog eating the mother's hand. You hear about the boy drowning. But every time it gets to that middle thing, you can't help it. You sing. Does the shadow have a name? Sing. Does the shadow have a name?
Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime.
Shemshime, Shemshime.
Shemshine, Shemshine.
Causes grief, avoids the blame.
Causes grief, avoids the blame. Shemshine,
and Sunak sings along with you. You both sing Shemshime, Shemshime as you just hear and the words skip on that see a daughter, daughter, daughter. And it returns to the beginning. But you approach. That's what's happening. The lights are still flickering. There's still the firefly juju. And Sunak shakes her head and says, if we're going to do this, we need to do it.
Alrighty, let's do it. Do I just roll to see if I can fix it?
You're going to try to fix the mechanism?
Yeah.
So go ahead and make that tinkering check. Make an intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus. Or actually, I'll say you'll just make it an intelligence check with advantage.
19 total.
You find underneath this fourth pop-up scene a metal cylinder that seems to, as a music box would, and Sonni Cherilyn would kind of understand how they work.
Right.
Little pins kind of play the notes while something operates this mechanism to lift the scene up. The damage to it is relatively superficial, actually, and with your skill set, you're able to hold it in place. You get it to a position where you're holding it, and when you let it go, it will play. Sunak takes a deep breath.
And I say, all right, I got it in position. We're just about ready to go live. Is everybody ready?
All right, do it, Sunak says. Ebdur is unconscious over to the left somewhere, and there's no one else around.
Okay. Sonni is going to have his hand pull his wrench. He is going to have that prepped and ready to go at this Shemshime, whatever entity it does, whatever like form it takes. And he releases the mechanism to begin to play.
Okay, and you hear ding, 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 ding. Shemshime, Shemshime. And then you hear the words in your head as this fourth scene pops up. You see a young girl with a millstone ramming it down onto a shadowy figure. And you hear, and actually, you can't help but sing these words along. And you hear Sunak singing the words, too. I won't make you, Baxter, sing it, but know that Sonni Cherilyn and Sunak, full voice, sing along as you hear in your head, see a daughter grinding grain, wish the spirit's time was through, trap set for the shadow bane, her millstone crushed it true. And then, as soon as you hear it one time, you hear a and that thing clacks back in to that broken state. And as you're looking at the other three scenes, they start to change. You see the mother scything the husband, slowly turning into a blue-skinned tabaxi, covering her mouth and shaking. The second image of the woman getting her hand bitten turns into a dark-skinned man laying on the ground pointing. You recognize the image of Ebdur. And the third one becomes Sonni Cherilyn, fully missing his What is your defender? The defender broken in pieces on the ground, and Sonni covering his mouth with his free hand, his goggles kind of askew, as a dark figure looms over all three of these images, and then out that windmill changes into an image of the Firefly Seller, complete with the big book sculpture that you noticed when you came in and the circular stacks. And you hear Shemshime, Shemshime, and a shadow erupts out of the book, this column of shadow that takes the form of a humanoid figure with glowing red eyes, and you just hear Shemshime, Shemshime.
And
you hear Ebder on the ground shout, Shemshime, Shemshime. You hear the sound of Galeby in the cellar, far away, faint, but you can still hear it, Shemshime, Shemshime. And you hear the shadow say, Shemshime, Shemshime. I need you to roll initiative.
Okay. It's a whopping 5 from Sonni, Six Eyes Cherilyn.
Okay, so Shemshime is going to act first. Shemshime looks at Sunak, and you see the red eyes widen, and all of a sudden you hear that tinkling melody coming from the lips of this shadow, and Sunak has to make a wisdom saving throw. She fails and takes 21 psychic damage as you see her body go rigid, and she is stunned until the end of her next turn.
Okay. Sonni. Oh, never mind.
So she loses her turn. She would be next in the initiative order, but you see her eyes dart to you. She looks super panicked.
Yikes. Okay.
Now that's your turn, sorry.
Sonni, Cherilyn, let me just ask a few clarifying questions as the player here. The original song thing, the rhyme that we were saying said that they beat this thing by using the stone. Is that the book?
They crushed it under a millstone.
What is a millstone?
Like a large stone used for grinding up wheat. Just a very heavy rock.
Okay. And that ended it, supposedly?
According to this book, yes.
Okay, so it just needs to be defeated. Okay. Sonni Cherilyn is going to use a firebolt cantrip. So that's going to be 18 to hit.
18 to hit will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Alrighty. Damage on that is going to be 2d10. So, let's see. So that is 12 damage total.
Yes. So you shoot off a firebolt. What does Sonni Cherilyn's firebolt look like?
I think I think of it flavor-wise as more of almost like an Iron Man, that yellow kind of coloration that he has, kind of like a little shot from his prosthetic hand. That's kind of cool. Energy.
Yeah, you extend your steel defender hand and fire off a bolt of energy that connects with this shadow, and like a chunk of it kind of wisps out as Shemshime turns back to you, and you just see this grin appear on his face. I need you to make a concentration check.
Yeah, but that's a con save.
Yes, a con save.
24. I'm fine.
Oh. Yeah, you hear in your head, does the shadow have a name? But you resist the urge. You don't take any damage from it. Now Shemshime is going to grin wide and whisper, Shemshime. You and Sunak both need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, whiz? Oof. Oh, but that's a high nat. That's a nat 17. It's plus 0. It's 17 for Sonni Cherilyn.
You feel something moving through your body, attempting to take control of it, and you resist the urge as you just hear Shemshime, Shemshime in your ears. Sunak doesn't waste any time. She leaps into the air and just kicks her legs twice, and these two blue bolts of energy, their eldritch blasts, come out of her feet.
Okay. Towards Shemshime?
Towards Shemshime.
Okay.
She misses with the first one, but the second one hits, and Shemshime takes max damage, 10 damage.
Nice.
So another wisp of shadow comes out, and Shemshime grins wide. And you actually hear Sunak let out a little yelp as she shouts, Shemshime, Shemshime! And takes some psychic damage.
Oh, no.
That's your turn.
Let's see. I am going to... Same thing, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. A firebolt. So that's going to be 13 plus 6, 19. So, excuse me, 19.
Okay, 19 hits.
Right on. 2d10. Come on, firebolt. That's a 10. And that's an 8. 18.
Jeez. You blast another fireball at Shemshime, and it hits him directly in the face. Sort of this shadow wraps around the fire and almost like disappears for a moment as it like becomes this wisp of smoke.
Nice.
The figure has disappeared at this point.
Oh.
But you still hear the little box tinkling, and the 3 scenes pop up, and then that 4th scene clicking. Sunak turns to you and says, "Did we do it?"
I don't think so. I think the box is still stuck.
Does the shadow have a name?
I would like
Make
to
a concentration check.
Oh no. Can I see if I can pop that last one that's stuck again?
We'll resolve that in a moment.
Okay. Constitution 17.
You resist the urge to shout as loud as you can, Shemshime, Shemshime, but unfortunately you hear Ebder over there scream, Shemshime, Shemshime, and all of a sudden that wisp of... What?
He has a gag. I tied a handkerchief around his mouth.
You can still hear him.
Ugh.
Muffled then. It's muffled, but he's yelling it. The smoke reforms as Shemshime, grinning wider than ever, and yeah, you still hear the clicking of that 4th piece.
I would like to go and try and get that 4th piece to pop up, because that's the end of the song.
Okay, great. So as you run up to do it, the first thing that happens as you put your hands on the book again, I need you to make for me an intelligence saving throw.
Ooh. Oh, that's super good. Okay. Well, I mean, not super good. A dirty 20. 13 plus 7.
As you put your hands on this book, you hear, "Does the shadow have a name? Shemshime, Shemshime. Causes grief, avoids the blame. Shemshime, Shemshime." So you manage to steel yourself against the sort of terror that's coursing through you. You take half damage because you saved. So that's going to be 11 cut in half, 5 damage, 5 psychic damage.
I can deal with that.
But now go ahead and make for me make a sleight of hand check to try to quickly
hilarious.
fix this
I
thing.
am proficient in sleight of hand.
And I'll give you also advantage because you have proficiency with this.
I appreciate that. 10. Okay, so it's a 16 total.
So with your action, you reach in there, you start to mess with these things, you get it to almost the point where you feel like you're very close. You just need to get one piece into place and it will click. But you can't quite get it at the end of your turn. It's going to take 2 in order to actually fix this in initiative time.
Right.
That's going to be Shemshime. Shemshime is going to now... The same thing that Shemshime did to Sunak in the first round, they do to you now. So this stream of hoarse whispers comes to you. I need a wisdom saving throw from you. He's going to attempt to stun you.
Wisdom save. Ooh.
Yep.
Absolutely.
DC is 13.
Okay, let's see. It's gonna be a raw because my wisdom save is +0. So.
All right. Well, let's see.
Ooh, 15.
Yeah, you hear the just line after line. Now it's just sort of mixed into this horrifying chorus of, this cacophony of noises. But you're on a mission now. Your hands are in the book. You're doing your work. You're doing your tinkering. Sunak just kind of stands there waiting, hoping, cheers you on as you do this. Go ahead and make I imagine with your next action, you're going to.
Oh yeah.
Sunak is giving up on attacking Shemshime and says, "What should I do?"
Come help me with this. We figure this out and it's gone.
Okay, so yeah, Sunak approaches. She is gonna have to make that save if she gets close. You want her to grab the book?
Yeah, to help me. I mean, it would theoretically from a.
She might be able to fix it. Yeah, it could get fixed on her turn if.
Oh, I thought it would give me advantage on my turn when I.
You're going to have advantage anyway because you're proficient with Tinkerer's tools.
Then I'm gonna say, on second thought, just keep Shemshime's attention. Once I pop this thing, it'll be dealt with.
Yeah, you see Sunak nod at you and look up at Shemshime and say, "Come get me, you big dark mistake!" And she runs toward the stairwell to the second floor, waving. I'm gonna make I guess maybe an intimidation check or a persuasion check, just a charisma check to see. Okay, yeah, you see Shemshime does turn his terrifying head toward her as you continue to work. It's your turn now.
Okay, I'm gonna try to move that last piece so I have advantage, right? And what is this again? Thank God I have advantage. It's a int check.
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Oh, even better. Okay, 12 plus 6, 18.
You, as Sunak gets Shemshime's attention, you manage to slip your hand just where you need to go, pop the thing back into place like you did before, and the fourth scene pops up. You hear the words in your head about the daughter using the millstone to crush Shemshime, but what you see is the ghost being flattened by a large stone book.
Yep. I freaking knew it. And all Sonni says, "You see that chain link I fixed earlier? We gotta get it underneath it, and I'm gonna break that chain, and it's gonna crush this thing faster than a millstone ever would."
Yeah, and because of where the book was placed, that sculpture is right above Shemshime right now.
Sonni is going to throw his wrench at the one that he knows is loose and all mangled to break it. And then, so can I try to do that? Or I guess it's not, it's my action.
On your turn. I mean, unless you can do something with a bonus action with your metal defender or something.
No, nothing that could be used for that specifically. Because I think it's an action to control
Sunak is going to use her turn to take the dash action to get to the top, to that balcony. You see her and she's like, "I'm ready, I'm going to destroy the chain." But she's got a dash to get up there. At this point, Shemshime has turned all the way to Sunak and is going to try to stun her. Or, well, hold on, I got to see if that recharges. It doesn't recharge. So Shemshime instead is going to reach down to you. You hear the cacophony as this shadow passes over you. This is just a melee attack.
Oh, okay.
Does a 17 hit you?
Yep, AC 15.
Well, 15 psychic damage. You just hear this loud, desperate sound of this horrifying rhyme.
I'm going to use as a reaction, actually. Or do I have to declare a reaction before I do it? A shield? I have a shield as a reaction. When you are hit, an attacker or target by the magic missile spell, or attack target by the magic missile, an invisible barrier.
Well, no damage from magic missile, but it increases your AC by how much?
+5. So I'd have 20.
I'll let you take it this time. Generally, you have to say it after you're hit before you know what the damage is. But I'll let you take it this time.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But, yes, I was thinking... Sorry, I just wanted to use a spell. Thank you for letting me do that. But,
Yeah. Totally. So what does shield look like?
Oh, it's on that shoulder piece. It's literally, just like a light barrier that goes around Sonni and absorbs the thing. So instead of... Oh, so you know what? No, so it doesn't hit at all, right? Because it's +5 to AC.
Doesn't hit.
Okay.
Yes.
Right on.
You start to hear this, and your steel defender pops the shield up, and all of a sudden your mind is clear, which is actually really nice because it occurs to you that there hasn't been peace in your mind all day, except now that you get this moment of silence. But that is going to be Sunak's turn. She is going to jump up and double kick 2 Eldritch Blasts trying to hit that chain. And boom, she hits one, she hits another, and this thing starts to kind of swing back and forth on only one of those 3 chains now. And you hear as the chain stresses against the ceiling. This thing is about to break and fall. It's your turn.
I would like to throw my wrench at the chain, one of the weaker looking chains, to see if I can get it to fall. So
cool.
just make
Go
a
ahead.
straight
Make
attack.
a ranged. It's a ranged attack.
Is that somehow a different hit DC?
You would add your dex modifier as well as your bonus. It's going to be the same as your sling, so the +6.
Oh, okay. Uh, 16 to hit.
You haul back and throw your wrench. It collides with that one you fixed when you came in, the last one that's holding. That's that Sonni Cherilyn workmanship.
It all came full circle.
It collides, and the chain snaps. I'm going to let you use your reaction to tell me what you do. You still got your movement, but if there's anything that you want to do as this thing begins to fall down onto Shemshime.
I don't think anything too specific. I think Sonni is going to see it falling, and he is just going to try to make as much eye contact and, get Shemshime's attention so that he's the last thing that Shemshime sees before it's put back in the book.
Make just a straight up charisma check to see if you can. I mean, I'll let you pick which charisma skill, like intimidation or persuasion.
I think it's more. I think it's maybe a little intimidating. I think he's trying to be a little cocky with it since he saw himself in that book. 16 -1, 15.
Yeah, it's enough. Shemshime goes from Sunak to you, the red eyes boring into yours as you hear Shemshime, Shemshime. But then, as this thing falls, you hear that final stanza about the daughter and the millstone as this book makes contact with the top of Shemshime and just cuts through the shadow, crushing the spirit and koosh, breaking the music box in half. You see it just completely destroyed under this thing as it lands. And in fact, some books fall off the shelves. There's a very loud thud. And then the fireflies go back to all being illuminated. It's actually kind of pretty in a weird way. But it's silent and still, and you are out of initiative.
Sonni kind of takes a breath, says, somebody needs to go check on that little girl, make sure she's okay. Let's get Edgar up and make sure that he's alive and breathing, and let's everybody...
And you actually look over and you see that Ebder has already started to stir. When you said Galeby's name, you see his eyes go to you in concern, and he says, oh my goodness. We have to go check on her. And he's beelining for the cellar as Sunak starts to make her way downstairs. But you follow with Ebder, and in the kitchen, Galeby is already sitting at the table, just kind of like rocking back and forth. She locks eyes with her dad as he comes in and says, "Dad, is it over?" And he says, "Yeah, honey, it's over." And they hug as Crinkle slowly shuffles out of the hallway. You see this bloody blood on their robe, and they're sort of holding their chest and stomach as they walk up. You put two and two together at this point, remembering the blood on the book, and you realize that Galeby must have struck Crinkle at some point, but Crinkle seems to be calm, and before too long, Sunak appears behind you, and she says, "Well, that was a more eventful morning than I thought it would be."
You can say that again, but thank goodness you had Sunny Six Eyes Cherilyn here to help fix your problems. He kind of chuckles. Now, about that schematic.
Yes, of course. Could I trouble you to make a report on this with me? We need to speak to one of the higher scribes. Needs to know about this, but afterward, of course, I would be happy to help you find what you're looking for here at Candlekeep.
Well, that'll be perfect. I don't mind making a report. In fact, if I'm able, I might actually like to study the inner mechanics of that contraption.
We'll see if we can get that cleared with the scribes, but if you want to take it off our hands after this, I don't think there'll be much of an issue. Why don't you take the pieces with you, and we'll head up and see what we can do.
Right on. I'm not really super interested in touching it right now until I know that it's all, cool. I know we've defeated it. I know it's broken, but I just don't want any of that darkness following me home yet. He kind of chuckles.
Yeah, Sunak nods at you and smiles and says, "We'll leave it here and we can come back for it if you want it. Come with me. We'll head out." And she turns to go to that long hallway that leads up to the stacks again. And as you go to follow her, you feel a little tug on your prosthetic arm.
And I turn to see who's tugging.
And it's Galeby, of course. And she looks at you with big eyes, and she says, she's actually she's only a little bit shorter than you.
Yeah.
So she's looking right into your eyes, and she smiles. You notice that she's missing teeth. You hadn't seen it before because she hadn't smiled like this. But she looks at you with big eyes, and she says, "Thank you, Mr. Six Eyes."
Happy birthday, Galeby. And he goes into his bag of holding and pulls out a delicious-looking pink frosted cupcake and hands it to her.
She reaches out her hand and receives it, and you see Ebder behind kind of give you a solemn nod. And Crinkle the Kenku kind of clicks at you as they start to go back to busying themselves with their work. And Ebder goes to finish putting away some dishes, and Galeby takes her cupcake and sits at the table and starts to eat it, as Sunak leads you out, up the stairs, to the hatch. She reaches out a hand and removes the lock on the hatch, opens it up to the House of Rest, and says, "Let's go find you that schematic."
Let's do it.
And that's where we'll end it. That's the end of the adventure. Wonderful job. That was great. Good work.
Wow, what a fun adventure. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, give it a like. If you have something you want to tell us, put it in the comment section below. And if you're here till the end, that means that you are part of the Start Adventuring family, and you should hit subscribe and ring that bell so you're always notified when we put out new videos.
Yeah, absolutely. Subscribing here on YouTube is the best way to help us get our footing here on the platform. Whether you're watching along with us as we've been doing Candlekeep Mysteries, or if you found us through TikTok, we'd love to have you be a subscriber here on YouTube. We'd appreciate having you in the community, and it really does help us out quite a lot. But thank you so much for watching. We're going to be putting out our lessons learned from this adventure on Wednesday, and we'll also be discussing the adventure on our Patreon, which you can find a link to in the description down below. So if you can check that out and consider supporting the channel and our vision for positive, inclusive, encouraging D&D, we'd appreciate that very much. But really, we appreciate you spending the time to watch this video, spending some time having some fun with us, so thank you so much for that. And until next time, I'm Ben.
And I'm Baxter. And remember, start adventuring.
Just start adventuring.